What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. So at the end of this month, I will reach my 2 years of consistently making content on YouTube. And while over the last 2 years, I've been putting out content to help truck drivers get started within the industry, I haven't really shared a whole lot about where I'm at in my career. So this video is going to be a little bit of an update about that, but ultimately a bit of encouragement for new drivers getting into the industry. Because with over 10 years of experience as a CDL driver, the market looks completely different from what it did on day one to now. And new drivers are also looked at completely different than a driver with 10 years of experience. So what's it like for drivers with 10 years of experience trying to find a new job? How is it different from day one? And what should you expect as you gain experience within the trucking industry? Let's go. So for the last year and a half, I've been working with the same company. The job is local, driving dump trucks and roll-off trucks hauling dumpsters. And as I started that job shortly after getting serious about becoming a YouTube creator, I wanted to make sure I had time to grow this channel, as well as spend some much needed time with my children. Because prior to this, I had been an over-the-road truck driver for 8 years. So when I found this job offering a part-time position, I knew it was a pretty good fit. I could work for this company, make enough money to make ends meet, pursue my goal of becoming a YouTube content creator, and if I needed some money on the side, I would run Uber or Lyft. Now, it's to be expected in the trucking industry for work to slow down in the winter, specifically after Christmas for those who haul freight, but for those who haul dirt in the cold weather, it's pretty difficult to keep work steady. That being said, as soon as temperatures start warming up, so does the amount of work that's coming in. Unfortunately, this summer, for whatever reason, work has never picked up this summer, leading to the company that I work with selling almost all of their dump trucks to another company, leaving pretty much only roll-off trucks that haul dumpsters available to do work. This has led to some weeks where I've gone without work entirely, and most recently, I went 3 whole weeks without working the trucking job. So being that the work has been unseasonably slow, I decided I would start filling out applications again. And while ultimately my goal is to make content for you guys pretty full time, the channel's not quite at the level necessary to make that happen. And on top of that, if I stop doing CDL work and lose my consistent resume of always having a CDL job, it could definitely hurt my chances in the future of being able to be within the industry. So regardless of how well this channel does, I always want to make sure I'm doing something within the trucking industry. So with that, I began my search. And the first place I always look is my email, because with this much time in the industry, there's a lot of jobs that are constantly reaching out wanting to have me on as a driver. Unfortunately, I'm no longer interested in being an over-the-road truck driver, and honestly about 99% of the emails that come in are for regional or over-the-road. So I came up empty-handed there. And as you guys see on the deep dives, I rely pretty heavily on Indeed reviews to give me some more information about the companies. And that's because generally when I'm looking for a job, that's another location that I'm going to look. So scrolling through Indeed, you're going to find a lot of regional and over-the-road positions, with a handful of local opportunities as well. However, my unique circumstance of being a father, as well as wanting to be a content creator ultimately, leads me to have a pretty limited schedule. So finding a company that isn't 12-hour days, 5 days a week is pretty hard to come by. So I applied to a couple of companies that either had an overnight shift, or advertised a part-time driver or yard jockey position. Unfortunately, even at that, that wasn't going to be the best fit for me, but I wanted to apply anyway. And after about a week of scrolling through and applying to a job here or there, I stumbled across an advertisement that I couldn't refuse. A job where even their full-time drivers are averaging only 3 days a week. Now granted, they are very long shifts, between 12 and 14 hours each day, but that level of flexibility is really hard to come by. So I went ahead and filled out an application, and within a couple of days I received an email from one of the administrators at the company. In the email he mentioned wanting to schedule a phone call to talk about the ins and outs of the job. So I agreed, got it scheduled, and had the phone call. And without giving up too many personal details, I'm going to play that for you right now.
Saw that you actually were interested in being what the Amazon Freight Partner Program was about, and just figured I'd chat with you for a few minutes and see what you're interested in, and kind of what you're doing, what's your experience level in a Class A CDL vehicle, and what are you doing now, what are you looking for, and we kind of go over what we offer and see if it might be a good fit or something you'd like to pursue.
Yeah, definitely. I've been working as a CDL driver for the last 10 years, and
Oh, nice.
I've done over the road, I've done local. Currently, I do dump trucks and roll-offs for a small construction company, and
Oh, okay.
they're just not able to give me quite enough hours. In fact, I haven't
Yeah,
worked in the
yeah.
last 3 weeks with them, so
Ooh,
um,
yeah, that's tough.
trying to find something that I can do in the meantime, and I'm not needing full time per se.
Yeah,
I'm
Like
working.
we do have a part-time flex program, so we can discuss that.
Okay, that sounds good. Yeah, so it kind of all depends. I'd like to get at least, depending on if you guys are hourly or paid by miles or what that is. Um, I
Yeah,
guess.
we're an hourly based company.
Okay, what are you guys paying an hour?
$22 an hour to start. If you go part time, our flex program, and you just want to pick up 2 to 3 days a week or 2 to 3 days a month, it's $24 an hour. So two different options there. We've got a 3 day a week program, but it sounds like you're looking for just some filler work. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking to bring in anywhere from, I don't know, I'd say about, $250 to $500 a week. More
Oh, okay.
more would be fine, but I'm
Yeah.
also working on building up a YouTube channel currently. It's currently making
Oh,
money, but
wonderful.
it's not
Uh huh.
quite profitable enough yet to drop out of work
Yeah.
completely. So I was just wanting
Yeah.
something to fill in for that
Okay.
gap. Now, is
Yeah.
this partner to part-time program really flexible? Like I could say, look on
Oh, yeah.
an app or
It,
something and say, "Hey, we got work today. We don't have any today."
Here's how we do it.
Okay.
So, Amazon gives us our scheduled work for the following week every Friday. So Saturday morning, we reach out after plugging our full time contract. This is what we have. We have a Sunday at 10:30 a.m. day cab. On Wednesday, we have a 3:30 a.m. day cab. On Friday, we have a overnight trip starting at 9:30 a.m. Where you stay in the truck one night and come back, where you can actually knock out, like 26 hours in 2 days. And then you simply say, I got plans on Wednesday. I'll take the Sunday and then I'll take the Friday. So it's a contract of convenience. You choose what works best for your schedule. And we say, thank you very much for taking 2 days this week. We'll see what we have next week and we move on. So that's kind of how it works.
Okay.
We don't get we don't expect you to do anything unless you say, yeah, put my name on it. Then we expect you to take it and handle your business. But other than that, you pick and choose what works best for your schedule, my friend.
Sounds good. Um, and now this pretty stable. Like I said, I'm in a current job where I'm not getting the hours that I was kind of promised or hopeful for. So I'm a little hesitant about the consistency of that. Is it pretty consistent? Like there's almost guaranteed to be an option every week.
Oh yeah, yeah, and I can tell you what the big thing is whether or not you're flexible. Um, so we literally start our first truck starts at 3:30 in the morning, and we literally run from 3:30 to 10:30. There's a gap, but from 10:30 a.m. to 11:30 at night, 24/7. And on the regional offering where you could pick up an overnight trip, it runs from 3:30 a.m., 8:30, 9:30, 10:30, 11:30. Then it jumps to 2:30 in the afternoon, all the way again down to midnight 0:30. So we basically run 24/7, 7 days a week. I'll be honest with you, Zach. There are more shifts available in the evening hours. That's when a lot of freight moves. So, I've got guys that they say, well, I'd like to come in at 6 to 8 a.m. and work 10 hours. And that's not quite how it works. Amazon moves a lot of freight in, afternoons and evenings. They contract us for a 14-hour day. So it might end up being 13, but you goodwill plan on a 14-hour day, and at $24 an hour, you're getting paid by the hour. So you could, in 2 days a week, yeah, you could really supplement your income if that's what you're looking for.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that definitely sounds doable. I do have a split custody schedule with my kids as of right now. I have Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. I am a bit flexible during those days.
Hmm.
I could get,
Sure,
rides and stuff, but, I like to spend time with my kids as well. So the overnight trips probably won't be happening too much on those days, but
sure,
Thursdays and
yeah,
Fridays, even a little bit into Saturday, wouldn't be the end of the world either. But like you said, you call every week and say, hey, here's these options, take what you want. And that sounds definitely like something I'd be interested in.
okay, all right. So tell me a little bit about you live in Cleveland?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, we have a lot of drivers that live in. Tell me a bit. I mean, how's your your motor vehicle record in a commercial vehicle and in your personal vehicle?
Yeah, I mean, as far as I know on that, I have had stuff in the past, but I believe everything is past that 3 to 5 year mark, so it shouldn't be any issue. Just my time over the road, got a few tickets here and there, um, but again, I think it's past
Yeah,
that.
nothing crazy.
Yeah, yeah, just no,
Okay.
nothing wild. No. There is. I don't know how long accidents. It's not a at fault accident, but it did have injury or somebody got taken to the hospital. That was about. I want to say that was 4 or 5 years ago. So that is on there. Um, and I don't know if you guys have an Intella app or anything. I'd be happy to fill out an application for that. And um,
I would send you what we use JJ Keller. There's if we want to go forward, I'll send you an application email. It's basic. It just takes. I mean, you can finish the whole thing in about an hour and a half and be done with it. And then it's just waiting on your background check and
gotcha.
that kind of stuff, standard stuff. So, but yeah, we have a lot of guys that really enjoy the Flex program. I've got guys that are retired and just like to drive, so they get their fix with 1 or 2 days a week. Some of them only work 2 days a month, and they're just getting out of the house. They like to drive, and it's consistent, steady work, and it's decent pay. So that's why they drive for us. So not a lot of companies do it. So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I've noticed that as well. It's either full time 12 to 14 hour shifts or nothing at all for the most part, unless you're in
Yeah,
like the dump truck and things
yeah,
like that.
yeah. You're not guys that are like, well, I've been on a dedicated run with Food Liner, and I've been working 10 to 11 hours a day, and I start at 8 a.m. I said you might want to stay there then,
Right.
because I'm telling you, you're not gonna. It's extremely rare to work that kind of a short day. So, you sit around a lot, and that's why we pay by the hour. You wait on them, and you take a nap. You call your wife or girlfriend. You listen to a podcast. You eat your lunch. It's just what it is. Some guys get out and walk around the yard for exercise. There's just a lot of wait time with Amazon, a lot of nonsense.
Yeah.
But as long as it's safe, compliant, DOT regs, we'll do whatever they want us to do type thing.
Are you guys using that the Amazon app to like log in and check in at the shipper and stuff?
Yeah, we use the Relay app
Yep.
for post, pre-trip, and selfie verification and navigation. We use GeoTab for our ELD. That's Amazon just changed to GeoTab.
Okay.
Simple stuff, not hard. Especially once you get in a rhythm with it, it's it's just the same thing. And yeah, we're really big on safety. We really don't tolerate drowsy driving, fatigue driving. You pull over and take a rest, get you some coffee, uh, but it'll kill people.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah, it's been a while since I've worked any of the Amazon stuff. Are they still pulling those games where they're trying to ship empty trailers down to Florida and stuff just to keep the move going and wasting the money for that?
no, no. Um, so no. Here's where you'll run as a flex driver. But if you're just doing day cab, you're gonna run Knoxville, Louisville, Tennessee, over to Nashville. That's one sector. Another sector you'll run is Madison, Alabama, Huntsville, Birmingham, and oftentimes you'll swing down to Austell, Georgia, outside of Atlanta, west of Atlanta, and pick up a load and come back. So that's your third. And the dreaded fourth option that we spend a lot of time in is Atlanta. There is a ton of sites in Atlanta. So I had a lady literally said, I will never go back to Atlanta, and hung up. I said, okay, have a good day. But, Amazon is huge in Atlanta, and I get it. It's 285, it's the traffic, it's road construction. How can 12 lanes of traffic be? I don't know. It's Atlanta.
Yeah.
I call it the portal to hell. But, you get paid and you just sit there, and, that's why driving at night is oftentimes better.
Sure.
It's not as challenging. So, that's kind of how it goes.
Okay.
So, you've been around, so you know a bit about Amazon. Sounds like you're familiar with some of the processes. So it would probably be a pretty simple thing for you.
Yeah, I've done some relay runs and used that app for them before. And like I said before, I mean, there was one time we picked up, I was supposed to pick up a loaded trailer at CHA1 and head down to Florida. Well, they didn't have it ready, so we ended up getting paid to bobtail down to Florida.
Oh yeah,
It's
oh
just
yeah.
stupid stuff like that. Like, how are you guys still in business?
I don't know, but they are now the largest global company in the world, and they're taking everything over. So how they do it, but they have very deep pockets, and they have just trillions of dollars, and they're not afraid to waste it.
Yeah.
So yeah, you will still do really dumb things, like pick up an empty in Knoxville and drop it in Nashville, and then bobtail back to Knoxville. It's just weird, man.
That's
Like,
crazy.
okay, you'll take one pallet from Birmingham down to South Atlanta because it's a pallet of prime shipment, and it has to be there. So that's what you do. That's just what you do.
Right.
So as long as you don't mind dealing with that weird stuff, and getting paid to do it and to wait around, and then at the end of the day, here's what happens, Zach. Now I only have an hour and a half of drive on my 11, and I'm going to be pushed to get back. Yes, you will be. And sometimes we tow you. Well, we pay you, or we come and rescue you. You're sitting there at the Hamilton rest area right there at the split. We'll come and get you if we can. If people are on, we got an admin team around, and you get paid, you stay on duty, or you use your 16-hour big day, if you're starting and finishing in Chattanooga, if it's not your 11-hour clock, that kind of stuff. So it's a game, and we play it because they're consistent, and the work is there, and the contract, we get renewed every year. So, like it, lump it or not, it's what we do. So,
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, the only time that would be an issue really is when I got to get my kids from their mom, and
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to risk
Yep.
losing my custody just to make things work
Nope.
over there. So
You
outside of
just got to
that,
pick like you said, just pick the right times.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
so I mean,
yeah.
as long as we're getting paid by the hour, who cares what I'm doing?
That's kind of how I do it now. And then I've got drivers that get frustrated, and others are like, I just know that I just mentally prepare myself for a 14-hour day, and I bring plenty of food and drink. And some guys bring a book, or we got drivers that'll get on a 5-way chat, and they just go back and forth the whole night. You just deal with it. That's what you're going to be doing.
Gotcha. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if everything sounds good from me, I mean, I'd like to move forward with you guys and see what it's all
Okay.
about.
Okay.
So as you can see in that video, this is very much so a real life recruiter phone call for me personally. Except with smaller companies, you're really not dealing with a whole lot of recruiting department. It's generally just administrators within the office. And being that the position I was applying for wasn't a full-time position, I wasn't asking questions about insurance because that didn't apply to me. I knew from the advertisement approximately what the pay would be. But you'll notice very few questions were asked about me and who I am as a truck driver and a person. That being said, I volunteered some of that information to let them know what my schedule restrictions would be. And honestly, it's a weird shift that happens around year 2 or 3 in your trucking career, where a recruiter phone call or an interview turns into you questioning them more than they're questioning you. Because like I've always said on this channel, experience is the name of the game. And once you get enough experience, your record speaks for itself. They don't have to ask a whole lot of questions because they can see your job history. They can pull your MVR to make sure that your driving history is in good standing. Companies utilize the clearinghouse to make sure you don't have any DUIs. And like I said, realistically, your driving record becomes your interview. It tells the company just about everything they need to know about you. Are you a good driver? Do you have consistent work history? Do you have an issue with drugs or alcohol? And the challenge after 2 to 3 years of experience is no longer who wants to hire me. The challenge now becomes who do you want to go to work for. So after this call, I filled out all their applications and all the documents required to pull a background check the clearinghouse, and all that information. About a day later, I received a text message asking me to come in for an interview. And for the sake of being professional, I didn't want to bring in a camera to an interview, but I'll just tell you about how it went. I came in, sat down, talked to the gentleman that was there. He called in his boss on the phone, and they asked me a ton of questions, but the questions weren't your typical interview questions. Know what's your 3 best qualities? Why do you want to work for this company? Tell us a challenging experience at your last job. All of the typical interview stuff is out the window. The questions consisted of what's your schedule like? What days are you available? What times do you prefer to drive? If you have any tickets on your record, they'll ask you to explain that. But overall, the interview process for me consisted of me grilling them about what their company is like. When faced with certain challenges, how does the company respond? Does dispatch keep good communication with drivers? What happens if I'm late? What do these cameras capture and what should I be worried about? And this was so much so the case in this interview that I couldn't help but crack the joke. I said, well, I've been really grilling you guys about what you guys are all about. Do you have any questions for me? And aside from the few questions they asked at the very beginning, ultimately they said no and that they would be in contact within the next 24 to 48 hours. But generally, as long as your record doesn't have any issues and you're able to pass a drug screen, you almost know for certain that you've got the job when they ask you to go take a drug screen. And the day of the interview, I had went and taken a drug test prior to showing up for the interview. And knowing that I don't have any issues with that, I was about 90% confident that I would have the job. So the interview went well, I went back home and relaxed. Well, that interview was on Monday, and now that it's Thursday, I already knew that 24 to 48 hours had passed. So this is where a good bit of confidence really comes into play. Knowing that you're a well-qualified driver, you have the skills to pay the bills, and you know that your experience speaks for itself. You're able to follow up with the company with a level of confidence that's rare in any other job. And because it's been a few days since my interview, I decided to make the first move and reach out to them. Now this message was sent to a group phone number with a few different people on it, specifically the administrators of this small company. And with my personal information redacted, this is that chat. Good afternoon, gentlemen. After our interview Monday, I've done as instructed and given the opportunity some thought. I believe we line up on a lot of core values between driver and company and feel this would be a great fit for us both. You get a tenured driver with experience with Amazon and their procedures. I get to work with a company that values work-life balance and safety. If the offer still stands, I'll happily accept if you'll have me. Now with this text message, I wanted to come across confident but not ungrateful for the opportunity. But I definitely wanted to make it known that I know that I got the skills and that I would be a valuable asset to the company. And within 30 minutes, I received a response. Good afternoon. Thank you for your response and I appreciate the professionalism and for following up with us, sir. We agree and would like to have you on the team. We are planning on having our next orientation on this coming Tuesday, the 11th. Generally, we start at 9 a.m. and will last 4 to 5 hours. We will reach back out to finalize details and send you some things to do to prepare for orientation. And I responded as follows. That sounds great. I'll look forward to hearing from you about the details and I'll see you in orientation Tuesday. Thanks again. So while technically my feet aren't in the door just yet and I have yet to go to orientation, I'm very confident in my skills and know that I'm going to be a good fit for them and that the company themselves is going to be a good fit for me. And I get the question asked all the time, what company should I go to work for? And 9 times out of 10, my response is the same. It is totally dependent on what your needs and wants are within your career. Because I can all but guarantee that this job is not going to be a great fit for a lot of people. The pay per hour isn't stellar. The hours are going to be very long, and many folks would prefer to work more and shorter days versus fewer and longer days. But for me and my goals in my career right now, work-life balance is the biggest priority. I want to be here on this channel for a long time to help drivers out. And while it's cliche, I don't want to give up the most valuable asset everybody has, and that's time. I spent 8 years as an over-the-road truck driver, prioritizing money and career over family and freedom. And at this point in my life, the money's just not worth the sacrifice. So for the new truck drivers out there, just getting started in your trucking career, just know that these first couple of years are really the toughest to get through. And especially landing that first truck driving job, you're on bended knee, hoping somebody will hire you. And no matter how clean your record is, you still have to deal with the hurdle of zero experience. But I hope with this story about my personal career will help you see that experience truly is the name of the game. And once you have that under your belt, very few companies are going to turn you away. And if they do turn you away, it's probably because they found somebody with more experience than what you have. So the first job is hard to nail. The second one, between 6 months and a year of experience, can still be a bit of a challenge. But once you start moving into 2, 3, 4 years of experience, that switch in the conversation will definitely happen. And like I said, you'll be vetting the companies more than they're trying to look at you to see if you're a qualified driver. Because your record, it's going to speak for itself, and they already know you're good to go. So try your best to avoid accidents. Stay drug and alcohol free, and keep a solid work and driving history under your belt. And that's it. You'll be able to make recruiter phone calls with the utmost confidence and go into interviews with your head held high knowing that you got the skills to pay the bills. So let me know what you think about this in the comments down below. And as always, don't forget to like, comment, and share with your friends. All right? Bye.